We'll be here each and every Monday through the season, talking Jaguars football, talking about what's happening with the NFL and this team. One of the things we'll do every week as well is hear from the fans, hear from those who are out here who can ask the quarterback questions. So, Nikki, you found some fans who have some questions to ask Mark.
I did, and we're going to start off with Bob because I think Bob is going to be asking the question that really is on a lot of people's minds. All right, what is it that you want to ask Mark?
Well, first of all, I think since we've already established Blake's not the person, I don't really think Chad's the person, and Brandon's too new. So who should we go after in the NFL to really be our quarterback in the Doug Marrone system?
Wow, tough question there.
Right out of the gate.
Well, I'll disagree with you a little bit there. I think it's a little early to be deciding on who the quarterback is going to be. I think going forward, the next 2 preseason games will determine. If Blake plays better in these next 2 preseason games, he is going to be the starter. If Chad plays better, then it's going to be his. It's really neck and neck right now. Brandon Allen is too young, Cole. He looked pretty good the other night in the preseason game, but he's going against some very young players with inexperience. It's hard to say. Will they address this in the draft next year? Perhaps they will. But I just think it's too early. If I had to choose a starter, at least for Thursday night's game, I would go with Chad Henne and go from there. Understanding full well that I haven't made a decision yet. There's still 2 weeks. Let it play out. And sometimes when the starter gets benched, it sends a clear message that, I got to get this thing going a little bit. Perhaps that message would be the best thing for Blake Bortles if Chad Henne is the starter for Thursday night. But I'm going to go with it's a little too early to see who is Doug Marrone's best fit.
Interestingly enough, I asked Marrone today whether he saw a scenario in the 4th preseason game where the guy who was going to start in the opener to play in the 4th preseason game, he said, well, I'm not even that far yet in terms of my thinking. I'm really concentrating on what's going to happen this week. So that really gives you an indication that he's looking at the here and now as far as the quarterback position is concerned. All right, Nikki, who's next?
All right, next we have Joe, and his question isn't about the current Jaguar team. It's more for Mark about when you played.
Hey, Mark, best pregame show you've ever done, by the way.
Thank you, Joe.
You're quite welcome. Really appreciate it.
I told you.
Right.
More of a general question. Just the first time you got popped as an NFL quarterback.
The first time I got popped was very painful, Joe. It's the best way to put it. The first time I ever really got hit, I was actually with the Green Bay Packers. And Brett Favre went down in the first quarter, and I could not have been more nervous. I mean, I was a wreck. I did not want to go out there. We were in the Metrodome playing the Minnesota Vikings, and the first time I got hit was by John Randall. Remember John Randall?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Before he hit me, but he had all the eye black on. Before he hit me, while I was barking out my signals and audibling and all that stuff, he was barking at me. And I thought, if this guy hits me, it's going to really hurt. And sure enough, 2 plays later, he hit me, and I'll never forget it. The first sack and the first time I ever got hit in the NFL was from John Randall, Hall of Famer.
So beware of barking defensive linemen.
Watch out for barking defensive linemen, yes.
Nikki, what's next?
All right, hey, guys, this is Sam, and he has a question about wide receivers.
Hey, I just want to know, I know everyone's looking at Hearns and Robinson this year, but is there another receiver maybe everyone hasn't heard of that has impressed you at camp?
Boy, I think D.D. Westbrook has impressed me with his speed. We saw Keelan Cole a couple weeks ago with that long 94, 97-yard touchdown. A lot of speed there. These guys, they're still learning the system. They're still trying to figure it out. But there's no substitute for speed, Cole. Guys that can just run by guys. It makes all the difference in the world. And I don't think he mentioned Marquise Lee, who, in my opinion, last year was the best Jaguar receivers. Didn't have the best numbers, but I thought he had the biggest impact on the football team. I believe the receiver position is in pretty good shape. It's just a matter of getting the ball to them consistently.
Yeah, figuring out who plays what roles as part of this
exactly.
as well. We also will take questions on social media, and we do have one more question, Nikki, on social media this week.
We do. It's from David Levin, and here's what he wants to know. What has Mark seen in practice that makes him think fans should expect a better team?
That's a great question. I see some new faces. I see Calais Campbell out there. You've stood next to him. He's 6'8", and he's just a mountain of a man. Will make an immediate impact. I see A.J. Boye out there. I've been to a lot of practices the last few years. He's the best corner I've seen, wearing the Jaguar uniform in some time. So I'm seeing some new faces, guys I think will make an immediate impact. We mentioned Leonard Fournette. I think he'll come on strong and really establish that running game early. But what I also like is the work ethic. These guys are working really hard. They're being pushed. They're being yelled at. They're being coached. And they seem to embrace it. They seem to understand that, listen, I've got to do it Doug Marone's way, Tom Coughlin's way, or I'm not going to be here. So I've been impressed with the work ethic. I've been impressed with some new faces. I honestly expect, regardless of what's happened at the quarterback position and how things have gone so far in preseason, I think we're going to have a better football team. And I'm looking forward to seeing that.
All right, we'll keep a close eye on that throughout the course of the year.